If you like to know how to complete a smooth connection at Madrid Airport, you came to the right video. On this video you will find out what Madrid Airport is like, which terminal you are going to use, how to identify the boarding gate, what happens to your baggage during the connection, how to complete the connection, and how much time you need for the connection. Hola, ¿qué tal? I am Tony Galvez from Road Trip Spain and Portugal, where we help you plan the perfect trip with practical information and insider tips. Our help today is for those connecting at Madrid Airport, even if they are not going to stay in Spain. Madrid has just the one airport, official name Adolfo Suárez Madrid Barajas, although most people refer to it as simply Barajas. Its code is MAD. M-A-D. With what we're going to tell you today, we want you to be able to make the connection with the greatest peace of mind when you arrive at the airport. Let's start by talking about what Madrid Airport is like. It is quite a large airport, and to understand it better, we always suggest that you think of it as if it were two different airports, very close to each other. The first airport, let's call it the old airport, corresponds to the original facilities of Madrid Airport and contains terminals T1, T2 and T3. The second airport, let's call it the new airport, was inaugurated in 2006 and contains terminals T4 and T4 satellite or T4S. Between the old airport and the new airport are the 4 runways of the airport which serve all the terminals. The distance between terminals 1, 2, 3 on the one hand and 4 and 4S on the other hand is too great to walk between them. We'll see later how you can make that journey should you need to. To find out how to complete the connection, you need to know which terminal or terminals you are going to use. This information usually appears on the ticket you bought, and if it doesn't, the place where you will certainly find the info is on your boarding pass shortly before you fly. Let's help you with terminal identification. In Madrid, what determines whether a flight arrives or departs from a specific terminal are 2 factors: the origin or destination of the flight and the airline. Let's go back to the map. In general, intercontinental flights from America, Africa or Asia arrive at either T1 or T4S depending on the airline. This is also the case for flights from the UK. Also in general, flights from other European countries arrive at T2, T3 or T4. But be careful because there are exceptions. As we cannot present an exhaustive list of airlines and terminals here, if you're not sure which terminals you are going to use, ask us and we will take a look. If you want our help, please don't forget to share 3 pieces of information: the origin of your first flight, the destination of your second flight, and the airlines you are flying with. Without this information, we won't be able to help you. As well as knowing which terminal you need to go to complete your connection, you also need to know which gate your connecting flight in Madrid has been allocated. At Madrid Airport, each boarding gate has a unique ID consisting of a letter and a number. The letter identifies the boarding area. The number identifies the exact gate. When you arrive at the terminal where your connecting flight is departing from, look for a monitor to locate your gate. Monitors usually display the flight's scheduled departure time, flight destination, flight number, gate identification, and flight status remarks. You need to look for the column where the gate information appears. It may already be displayed on the monitor, in which case you should go to the gate, or it may be that the information is not yet available because there's still some time before departure. In this case, you will only be informed of the boarding area. You can go there and wait until the time when the gate will be announced. This is what happens in the example with a flight to São Paulo. The gate ID will appear on the monitors at 21:55, but you could already go to zones H and J, knowing that the gate will be in one of those zones. Let's now look at the map to see where the boarding areas are in each of the terminals. In Terminal 1 you will find zones A, B and C. All 3 are interconnected and you can walk from one to another. In Terminal 2 there is Zone C, which is a continuation of the same zone in Terminal 1, and Zone D. In Terminal 3, which functions as an extension to Terminal 2, there are zones E and F. In Terminal 4 there are 3 zones H, J and K. all within the same building, and it is possible to walk from one to another. Finally, T4S is occupied by the S zone, and on a lower level in the central part of the terminal, the M zone. What about your baggage? If you were only traveling with hand luggage, you don't have to worry about it during the connection. If you have checked in your baggage, several situations can happen. The most common are you take both flights with the same airline as part of the same ticket. In this case, your baggage will most likely be sent directly to the airport of your final destination, or you make each flight with a different airline as part of two separately purchased tickets. In that case, when you arrive in Madrid, you will have to collect your luggage and check it in for the second flight. In any case, it's very important that you ask what will happen to your baggage when you check in at the airport you are departing from. Let's take a step-by-step look at the three most frequent connections, from T1 to T2 and vice versa, from T4S to T4 and vice versa, and from T1 to 3 to T4, T4S and vice versa. There are other combinations if yours is not covered by the ones we are going to explain and you would like help, ask in the commentary box below. In the case of a connection between T1, T2 or T3, all terminals are in the same building structure and travel from one to the other is done on foot. When you get off the plane, you will follow the signs showing the way to the departure and connections area. All passengers will go in the same direction. Still in T1, you will go through immigration control. Even if you are only making a connection, you will go through immigration formalities in Spain, as it is your airport of entry to the European zone, free of internal immigration controls. If your luggage has been sent to your final destination airport, you can skip the next two steps and go directly to step 4. If you need to collect your baggage, do that now at T1. Now with your baggage, go out to the open part of T1, go up to the departure levels of T2 and check in. If your luggage has been sent to your destination airport, do not go out into the open part of the airport, but look on a screen for the location of your boarding gate and walk to it. The opposite connection from T2 or T3 to T1 is much simpler because as you're arriving on a flight considered domestic, whether it comes from another Spanish airport or from another European city, there will be no immigration control on arrival. If your luggage has been sent to your destination airport, skip the next two steps. If you have to collect your baggage, do it now. Retrieve your baggage, go out to the open part of T1 and check in. If you don't have to take care of your luggage, don't go out to the open part of the airport. Now it is the time to look on a screen for the location of your boarding gate and go to it. The connection between T4S, where many intercontinental flights arrive, and T4 is very common. Exiting the plane, follow the arrows pointing the way to T4. All passengers will follow the same path. Still at T4S, you will pass through immigration control. Although you will only be making a connection, you will be going through the formalities to enter Spain, your airport of entry into the European zone free of internal immigration controls. After immigration, to get to T4, you will have to take a free train that connects T4S and T4, which is the only way to move between the two terminals. If your baggage has been sent directly to your destination airport, skip the next two steps. If you need to collect your baggage, do so now at T4. Retrieve your baggage, go out to the open part of T4, and check in on the departures level. If your baggage has been sent directly to your destination airport, do not exit to the open part of the airport. When you exit the last escalator leading to the baggage reclaim area, already in T4, instead of turning left, turn right to enter the connecting area. Look on a screen for the location of your gate and go to it. We have a video on the channel where we show you step by step how to get from T4S to T4. The connection on the opposite direction from T4 to T4S is quicker because it's much simpler. As you are arriving on a flight considered to be domestic, whether it comes from another Spanish airport or from another European city, there will be no immigration control on arrival. If your baggage has been sent to the airport of destination, skip the next two steps. If you need to collect your baggage, do it now at T4. Retrieve your baggage, go out to the open part of T4 and check in. If you do not have to deal with your baggage, do not go out to the open part of the airport. Find the location of the train to T4S, the free train that connects the terminals and is the only means of communication between them. When you arrive at T4S, look on a monitor for the location of your boarding gate and walk to it. Now for the connections that involve longer journeys and therefore require more time. Let's see how to go from T1 or T2 to T4 or T4S. If you arrive at T1, you will go through immigration control, you will collect your luggage at T1, and you will go up to the departures level and go outside T1 to catch the bus that will take you to T4. If you arrive at T2 or T3, the instructions would be the same. You will collect your baggage at T2, you will go up to the departures level and go outside T2 to catch the bus that will take you to T4. The shuttle bus that connects the terminals of Madrid Airport is green and blue. It is a bus prepared to transport passengers with baggage. The service is free and runs 24 hours a day, with less frequent services in the early hours of the morning. It takes between 10 and 15 minutes to get from T1 to T4. Look for the transit bus on the information signs at the airport. In the direction T1 to T4, the bus leaves from the T1 departures level, stops at the T2 departures level, and continues to the T4 departures level. In the direction T4 to T1, the bus departs from the arrivals level of T4, stops at T3, at the arrivals level of T2, and at the departures level of T1. When you get off the bus traveling from T1 and T2 to T4, you will be at T4. If your connecting flight departs from T4, you will check in at T4 and look for the boarding gate. If your connecting flight departs from T4S, you will check in at T4, take the train to T4S and find your boarding gate. Finally, let's look at the connection for those arriving at T4 or T4S and making a connection at T1 or T2. If you arrive at T4S, you will go through immigration control still at T4S. And you will take the free train that will take you to T4. At T4, you will collect your luggage, go out to the open part of the airport and look for the bus that connects the terminals, the bus we just talked about. When you arrive at T1, get off the bus, check in for your connecting flight, and look for the boarding gate. If you're departing from T2 or T3, you will get off the bus at T2, check in at T2, and look for your boarding gate. A connection at Madrid Airport is much less complicated than it seems. The key, the secret to a smooth connection is having enough time to complete it. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Always remember that connections are not an exact science. Just because the airline tells you that your flight arrives at such and such time, it doesn't mean that you will be ready to make your connection at exactly that time. Just look at the mind-blowing number of things that can happen. Your flight may be delayed. Even if you land on time, you may spend 15 minutes taxiing through the huge airport until you reach the terminal. You may get off the plane quickly, or you may be unlucky, be at the back of the plane and take 20 minutes. There may be no queue at immigration, or there may be an hour-long queue. In pandemic times, there may be no line at the health checkpoint, or there may be an hour-long line, and you may even be asked to take some kind of test on arrival in Madrid. Your suitcase may appear quickly on the belt or appear last, and we've all been there. You need time to get from one terminal to another. If you have to check in again, there may be a queue once again, and you may lose time while you complete the process. There are many factors that you don't control. That's why the times you'll see on the screen reflect our conservative estimates. We don't like risks, and that's why these are times we recommend to complete a stress-free connection. Can it be done faster? Yes, as long as absolutely everything works perfectly without any delay. But for those who don't want to risk it, here are our estimates. To complete a connection from T1 to T2 or T3 and vice versa, we recommend 2 hours if your luggage is flown directly to your final destination, and 3 hours if you have to collect your baggage in Madrid and check it in again. The connection from T2 to T1 is a little faster because there is no immigration control. This is the same recommendation we give for a connection between T4S and T4. The connection between T4 and T4S is also slightly faster because there is no immigration control. Finally, for the slowest connection between T1, T2 or T3 and T4 or T4S, we recommend a minimum of 2.5 hours, 3.5 hours if you have to take care of your baggage in Madrid. One last thought on the issue of the time needed for a connection. A lot of people tell us the company sells a much shorter connection and says it can be done without any problems. Look, first of all, just because the airline sells that quick connection, it doesn't mean you are obliged to accept it. If something goes wrong, the airline will have to put you on another flight, which may mean you have to wait hours or even until the next day to board that flight. It is your time, it is your holiday. No one is going to compensate you for the loss of that valuable time. Think about that before you accept a short connection. And that's all we wanted to share about the issue of airport connections at Madrid. We're going to leave you with a video that we think will be very useful for your next trip to Spain. Até mais, hasta la próxima, see you soon!